Hi all, this is Vanessa Love and this is my channel about the mental health field and related topics. Alright, so, again, I'm starting, I do these videos and like it's after I've kind of like, okay, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? So like I start practicing and then like, I'm like, okay, I feel very confident in what I'm going to say. So then like I come on here and I try to like kind of just almost like catch you up to where my thoughts were before I started the video. It's like I'm in the middle of still like hyped up about like talking about things that I'm going to talk in the video now, and I started anyway. Yeah, so that's how that goes. Anyway, so I wanted to talk today about the the disappointment of having friends who end up being coaches. And I don't mean like friends who like end up like go through training and they end up like, just being life coaches. Like I know a couple of life coaches and they do really well. But like I unfriended someone today because they, I knew and I suspected, but I didn't. Well, I now know, but I suspected before that they were a coach and that they were not being honest. And this is one of those ones where like they keep their coaching a secret and where they hit you up almost like an MLM where they're like, "Hi, hun," and you're like, "All right, what is it? Just get to it." And it's always the string along until you actually find out what they're selling, and it's coaching. And it's just one of those things. So this person, like, I left the messages on, like, just kind of like, all right, I suspect. I think the first thing is always, what do you love about your business? I almost want to like start saying, listen, I'm going to stop you right there. I have had a full caseload since the pandemic started, and I have a wait list right now. So I don't want to do anything really more than what I've been doing because I don't want a longer wait list. So, again, I'm really good. Like I'm good. Um, and I've also been doing this for 11 years. There's not much that people can offer me. I can say that the only thing that I really want at this point is a person who can do two things. One, teach me how to do copy. And two, teach me where to exactly market. And copy, because when I'm like, well, I want to do like a group, right? And I like not right now, but like in the past, I've wanted to do groups. And I'm never sure how to like go from, hi, I have a group, you should come, to actually having the group. Cause like I feel like there's something about just making that like switch over that I have no ability, like no confidence in at all. Like before you think like, oh, you'd have a group in here, I wouldn't have a group in here. There's a place down the hallway that has like I think room for 6, so I can have a group of 5. And that's kind of where I would want to be, at certain points. And, I've really thought about it and like, I've hit up my friends and been like, oh, are you available at this time? Because maybe we could do this and maybe we could do that, and all these things. And it's just like, it just really doesn't get there. So I would want someone where I'm like, okay, if I have a group that I want to create for women who have been traumatized, what do I say to attract that, like, people who want to work on that? And where do I post flyers for that, where it doesn't feel underhanded? Because I can imagine that someone would be like, oh, well, like, go to, like some of the women's clinics. And I'm like, but is that like a good place? Like, what's kind of the ratio of women coming in, women who have been traumatized, and women who are willing to come to a group? Like, that's, like, and this is where, like, I have the trouble, I mean, I think luckily with like Zoom, you can just call it. I wouldn't even call it a coaching thing, because I think that would just it's not good. I mean, you can open it up to a lot more people. That's why you would do a coaching thing, but you wouldn't even be able to be like it's traumatized people, because you're still acting in a role of therapy. It You got to keep if you're gonna be a therapist and coach, like you can't like have them together. It's one of those things. You have to be very separate with them. So yeah, like it's kind of that's a crazy thing, right? But like that's the only thing that I feel like I've ever needed. And I used to do webinars. I used to get sucked into them because they'd be like, oh, how to do a weekend retreat or a week-long workshop. And I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of want to do that one day. And I did the 30-minute pre-webinar, which was like a 30-minute advertisement for their classes that were $3,000 or something. And all I really needed was the copyright. That's like the copywriter. That's all I needed. That's it. I do not want to spend $2,000 on people being like, okay, so choose a place and choose your oh my god, what are those things called? Like things that you would put on the flyer to like attract people, like your goals for like that thing, where it'd be like, choose your like bullet points basically on like what the people are going to learn and get out of that week-long session. And I mean, in theory it's a great idea, but like me like not being able to like relax for like a week just it doesn't it's not ideal. That's why it hasn't happened for me. I'm sure it's happened for other people. And there's all of these things where like there are coaches, I think, who are preying on therapists and who are really trying to get all of that extra money that they feel that they can get, and like just really being like, wait, like this is the thing. And like you kind of get to a point where you're like, but it's not the thing. It's really like, again, most of the stuff I could figure out. It's like if someone came up to me about like, the weekend workshop or the week-long workshops, okay, so if you were gonna like plan a trip for a group of people, like you would know how to do that, right? Yeah. Okay. Choose a place, have stuff to do, have a plan for people to get from the airport to the place, do the thing, like, okay, cool. Like we got that, um, make a payment plan, advertise, whatever. And it's like, yeah, cool. Like but like, I don't, it's kind of like, so that was the whole webinar. A whole 30 minutes of me just being like, okay, yeah, all right. But like, you're not really teaching me anything that's different from what I would already be able to figure out had I not even done this thing. So yeah, like having asked the question of like, what do you love about your job? All right, what are you selling? And also this person, when they contacted me, they were just like, my husband and I just did this. We just added a new wing onto our house, whatever thing. And it's like, I mean, that's cool. Like, I'm glad that after, so many years of college, maybe, possibly, like, you were able to, like, have a house, buy a house, whatever, and, like, add to it because you're doing so well, like, but is that, like, the best part of your job? Because, like, it's not the best part of my job. The best part of my job is actually, like, being with my clients. So, like what? So, like, you're trying to prove to me that you're successful. Okay. The other thing that, I mean, I think that this is helpful. Like, so I did watch a lot of Tai Lopez, And like I've watched reviews of like people and like like his channel and all of that stuff. And early on, he like, I mean, I could never use any of what he was saying because I mean, it's basically like you need to have an idea for an app, and that's how people are making so much money. That's what he's offering. Like, and when you don't have that, and you don't want it, that's like there. I mean, there's still some business advice in there. Sorry, the whole "I read a book a day" thing is just like it's just too funny. So he talked about business mentors and how like great that is, and I'm gonna have to go in a few minutes, but and how great that is and everything. And he said, what was it? He said mentors, and I have a business mentor. I've had someone who has given me little pieces of advice all along the way, and who has been really great about like, hey, I know that this is kind of one of the things that you run into sometimes. Here's how you get over that, or like you have to stay with this, or whatever it is. And I'm like, okay, thank you, that's it. Like, good, great. And some of it comes rough, and some of it is like, okay, yep, I totally see what you're saying, and like get there. And I think that that's a really good thing. Like when you have someone who can be like, hey, go do this or don't do that, or whatever it is. I mean, I spoke to him in a business sense like maybe 4 years ago, but like, I mean, we're friends. We talk a lot. Anyway, I have to get going, and I will talk with you guys soon. All right, thanks.